The bells. They rang the bell. They rang the bell when they knew the bell can only be rung once a year to keep it from falling into disrepair. I don't know why this bell is in such a state, in spite of its youth, but that's what they said. Who was I to question bell logic, for I had none. It was only a bell. Usually, the bell rings when someone unexpectedly dies. It's a sobering affair that comes unpredictably, of course, as it's meant to remind the townspeople of the fragility of life and how death can happen at any moment. Suddenly, I don't think the bell falling into disrepair line is much of an excuse at all, but a casual veil to hide a morose truth. The town itself had ruinous beginnings and every now and then, ruinous ongoings, until they turned into ruinous, "Oh, I remember that," until no one does. I suppose it's a good thing. But the idea of the bell came when one man wanted a bell to ring once upon the moment after his death. It was a sturdy bell back then, but nowhere near the size of its successor. A hospice nurse emerged before calling the family. She looked sick to her stomach as she rang the bell. Only once, a moment after his death. I saw it, but no one else did. I had to see it. I had been waiting. But this was years ago when I was a boy and heard the man's last request. I sat on my bike, willing it not to be true, and waiting for it all the same. I wasn't waiting for the old man to die, of course. That's cruel. I was waiting to see if the nurse would follow through with the bell. I had to know. Could she? Would she? Could I? What would I have done? I suppose if the bell was there, I would have gone out the front door to ring it. It would have been a weak ring, only once. And after the weakness of me striking the bell with the little hammer, I feared feeling all the worse. A man died, and I was his timid town crier. This obviously never happened, but I think about it often, and you would too if you had been that hospice nurse. I tried to ask her about it, and all she said to me was, "Some people need a reassurance." It seemed a simple enough request. Who was I to say no? Who were you to say anything at all? I wanted to ask. If a man dies, if a tree falls in the forest, if you're not there to hear it or ring it in, does it weigh the same if you hadn't heard the felling at all? Maybe God just likes to cut down trees. Younger trees love it when the old ones die. They wait decades for prime sun. They share resources, as do older people when they die. Whatever they had in life spreads out one way or another, from wealth to knickknacks to grief, if they're lucky. I can't imagine all the unsung bells in all the places in the world. I can, actually, in the years while I was away at school. The bells I heard then were only twice, and one was for a wedding and the other was from a bicycle. Nice, but their resonance weighed differently due to my experience with bells. I was outside the bell tower when I heard it recently, when I saw it, and I was rooted as ever before, waiting, wondering, who has died now? I had no idea. I ran off the list of the town elders in my mind, and I could only think of those who had already passed. Many received no bell as their deaths were expected. So warped had become this tradition. There was no wedding or happy couple, there was no bicycle or child riding it. I saw a few people I knew and I wanted to go over to them, but they came to me. "Sorry, do you know why they rang the bell?" I asked. They looked right through me and kept going. Then one walked right through me. Wait, no, he walked around me, of course. I tried to follow and ask again, and suddenly I was there. The bell ringer Ted was there. Good man. We bowled together more than 5 years ago. Ted, what's wrong?" I asked. and his face was etched in a grief that I never wanted to experience for myself. He said nothing. He coughed out a sob and then wiped his face hard with both hands and then on his sleeve. I didn't care. I would never hold it against him. My hand went to his shoulder and then through his shoulder. Ted. Wait, I couldn't see my shoes. I had none, nor could I find my feet. And my shadow was gone. And I found myself in flight, trying desperately to wake up. This is a dream. This is a dream. This is a dream. And then it wasn't. There I was, lying on the couch. It was not a state I was proud of. One hand in a Cheetos bag and the other in my hair, staring mindlessly into the television set that played out a furniture commercial. Then I was moved. No, please, just let me be, I tried to tell them. I'm about to wake up. No one listened. Hey, did you hear that bell? One asked. Yeah. You know the story of that bell, don't you, in this town? No. They only ring it when someone dies unexpectedly. Well, I guess that's why they rang it, she sighed. I need my 10 as soon as we get back. Yeah, me too, he said. And I don't think I can ever eat Cheetos again. What a horrible thing to say, I thought, as the door closed on me. I tried to pick up a Cheeto that was on the floor. I don't think I'll be able to touch anything again. And while there was a bell that rang in my honor, I couldn't help but feel that it was so meaningless for all the times I heard it before and did nothing between the gaps before I heard it again.